Hi guys, what's going on? What's going on? This is your girl, preacher, teacher, motivational speaker, Lady Falana. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful day. It's drizzling a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and make this kind of quick because I don't want to get my little phone drenched on and it doesn't work anymore. So anyway, I encountered something rather recently with a particular church. Long story short, okay? I was pretty much told that, well, no, not pretty much, definitely, definitively told that I would not be permitted to preach unless I had a license under them. Mind you, that wasn't my intent to begin with. I wanted to be under someone's covering. Secondly, for the record, once you've been called and once you've been chosen, it's a done deal. You know, all this political stuff and mumbo jumbo about who can preach and who can't preach and that kind of thing. That's what it is, guys. It's mumbo jumbo, okay? Now, admittedly, because of how the system designed it, for whatever its reason, I have a couple theories on that too. I'm gonna leave that alone. There are certain aspects of ministry that you cannot do because you don't have a license, okay? Which is why I personally opted to be ordained legally and that type of thing. Okay. Let me be clear on something. By the grace of God, everyone that's on the Endure Entertainment Television Network ministers to 20 countries outside the U.S. and probably more. I thought take a look at the statistics. So what am I trying to say? I don't need a license from any ministry to do what I do. Um, Period, point blank. First of all, God called me and He chose me, and I did what was necessary to be able to handle certain aspects of ministry by conceding and going ahead and getting an ordination license by a beautiful church out of Raleigh, North Carolina. So, what am I trying to say to you? For those of you that have unfortunately run up against what I've run up against, be encouraged. Um, a license is good, but it's not all that. It doesn't determine a thing. It doesn't determine whether you were called or whether you were chosen. None of those things, okay? Legally, yeah, there's some aspects of ministry that you can't do. But in terms of whether you've been called or whether you have been chosen or not, that's not for man to decide. It really isn't. That's a God thing. You see what I'm saying? So, um, what is that passage in the Bible? Forget right now. But anyway, for the life of me, even today, I say this often. I have no clue as to why in the world God would choose a nut like me to preach. Okay. Many of you may be having the same questions. Why was I chosen? I've done this, I've done that, I still do this and still do that. Please keep in mind that God's ways are not like man's ways. So you don't need to sit back and scratch your hair out about that and that kind of thing. Just do what God have you do. You know what I mean? When He plants you somewhere, carry out the assignment. We need to stop always trying to mind God's business. We don't get anywhere that way anyway. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna do what He says do, whether it be voluntarily or involuntarily. Okay. Can't think of his name right this minute, but it was somebody in the Bible that wouldn't do what God had in mind. And I believe he ended up, I want to say his name was Jonah. He ended up in the well for 3 days for being hard headed by not doing what God wanted him to do. But guess what? After God allowed the well to spit him out, guess what? He ended up being right back where God wanted him to be to begin with. Had he been obedient, he wouldn't have had to go through the well and go through all that, right? So anyway, all that to say, it's a little warm, so I'm going to take this jacket off. All right. All that to say, let no one and nobody tell you that you can't do ministry because you don't have a license under them. That is control. That is slavery. And if you're not mighty careful, depending upon to what extent that they're enforcing that, let me get this jacket off. If you're not mighty careful to what extent they're trying to enforce that, it could be perceived as narcissism. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that part alone. I haven't this ministry that attempted to do that to me. I won't go so far as to say that they're narcissistic, but obviously they're very controlling. or they have a serious misinterpretation of the scriptures and what is required to actually be clergy and a whole bunch of other stuff. So anyway, all that to say, stay true to you. If you've been called and been chosen, let nothing or no one steer you from that. Okay, and that's bona fide talk. Don't allow yourself to have an identity crisis because of what someone in leadership has to say about what God has assigned you to do. Don't do that. Just don't. It's not worth it. You keep on keeping on, just like I am. I'm gonna keep on keeping on. And whoever God assigns me to, that's who I talk to. You know what I mean? That's who I have a conversation with. You do the same thing. Um, didn't want to exactly get up here to tell my business per se, but my good guess is that if I've gone through this, the likelihood of other people going through the same thing, okay, or people trying to stifle your gift or trying to hang a piece of paper over your head so that you can feel a sense of validity. Man, squash that. I know who I am, and I'm cool in the skin I'm in, and that's bona fide talk. Y'all be cool. Talk to you next time. Bye now.